Greetings. Welcome to So Much to Talk About. My name is Nabaté Isles, and wishing you and your family much health and mentally and physically, as we're going through a tough time. But this shall pass. The storm shall pass for sure. And I want to, without further ado, this is a sports show, but I always have different creative people on because I'm a professional musician myself. But this gentleman right here is someone that not just has a knowledge of sports, but is one of the foremost percussionists in the world, especially with marimba, vibraphone, xylophone, piano too, great pianist, as well as a fabulous drummer. So without further ado, this man is a Mack Avenue recording artist as well, and he's had many albums on the label, and we're going to talk about his latest album as well that came out in February. It is my pleasure to talk to the one and only Mr. Warren Wolf. How are you, sir?
Everything's cool. What's happening, brother?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Talk about the latest album. You know, it definitely is a different aesthetic, different sound, you know, and everything. Talk about what inspired you to do it, and also as well how it really is resonating now in this day and age.
Well, the record came out February 28th of this year, and it's titled Reincarnation. It's kind of like bringing back a part of my musical life that I kind of, it laid dormant for a long time. You know what I mean? Like when I was in college, I was pretty much just trying to tackle straight ahead jazz. You know, I just wanted to be like the next straight ahead jazz superstar. But I didn't grow up in a jazz household. I grew up in a music household. So, you know, coming up, I was born in '79. My mom and dad, you know, they grew up in that whole Motown era. That was the music of their time. So I heard Smokey Robinson and the Temptations and the Stylistics and all those groups. I heard all of that through the house. But since I was born in '79, and I guess I had some okay ears as an '80s baby, you know, my parents started listening to, of course, music of the '80s. So they would listen to a lot of Tina Turner, Anita Baker. And then even on like the adult contemporary side, you know, they would listen to Grover Washington. They would sometimes put it on Spiral Gyra, Yellow Jackets.
George Duke, of course.
George Duke, yep. What's my man on guitar? George Benson.
George Benson, Earl Klugh too.
They would play all of that stuff. And then maybe just a tad bit of, you know, they throw on some Charlie Parker and Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie. But, you know, they pretty much played all of that. And then on top of that, I have two older sisters. So they were playing a lot of, my older sister, she used to be in love with Ralph Tresvant. Of New Edition.
That's my song.
Yeah. So I was hearing a lot of that. And then my sister in the middle, because I'm the baby, you know, both of them, they were playing the same stuff. New Edition, a lot of old school LL Cool J, the Fat Boys, like all of that stuff from that movie, Crush Groove. So that was my intro to hip hop. So again, I didn't grow up in a jazz household. I was hearing all these different sounds.
Yes.
But it was something about Anita Baker that really just caught me. Like that whole record, Rapture.
Oh,
you know, that whole record is a hit. Like every song on there.
1986. Yes, sir. Right. Oh my God. That's one of my favorite albums ever. Yeah.
So, and my dad had this band, Wolfpack. They used to play, I mean, he was a teacher. He was a history teacher in school, but he had a band that played around Baltimore, D.C. So I heard all of these sounds like when they used to come over to our house and practice all the time. And again, it wasn't a straight ahead thing. It was just, they were just playing music.
Yes.
But even, like I said, just fast forward many years later, I really got like caught up in straight ahead jazz, which is fine. No bad thing. But, and you know, once I started my professional career of recording and traveling, things like that, which was at the age of 21 when I finished Berklee College of Music.
Yes.
I was like, you know, I'm just going to go straight into just hardcore straight ahead jazz. You know, a lot of my friends who I went to college with, they started off as jazz musicians, but eventually they went out to LA and started doing all the pop and, you know, all the hip hop and R&B, all that good stuff.
Talk about the cats you went to school with, because Berkeley is always filled with a plethora of talent.
Yeah, man. like on my floor, I remember my freshman year, John Mayer lived down the hall from me. So we were really cool. And we all, I don't need to tell his story. He's doing multiple things.
Exactly.
A great trumpeter who was, I mean, he still plays jazz, but he just doesn't play it like out there like that, like on stage. It was my buddy Rashawn Ross.
Oh, Rashawn, of course. Rashawn.
Yeah, you know Rashawn, and
yes.
you know, we used to hang tight all the time, man.
Yes.
And you know, he was playing a lot of jazz. Like this dude could play a Nicholas Payton solo just like that back in the day. Right, and but eventually I know he went off and started playing with Soul Live, and then he eventually went to a group called We Were Brain, and now he's with Dave Matthews.
Man, Dave Matthews forever.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, my boy. Let's see, another person. I'll just name one more. My boy Charles Haynes, wonderful drummer. You know, he's one of those few guys who I know who can bounce around between everything. I mean, you'll see him not necessarily like in a swing thing all the time, but he can do that. But you'll see him pumping the big band. You'll see him at the Blue Note playing some groove. Yep. Then you'll turn around, see him on The Voice or one of those TV shows. I'm like, wait. I was like, this dude, he's like an octopus. He got just like multiple arms. He's just everywhere. So I could give one more. My buddy Mark Kelly, the bass player.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the bassist for The Roots. We were all in school together. It's like all of these wonderful musicians. Wow. And many more.
Jalil Shaw, too.
Jalil Shaw. He was there.
Who had a show as well,
Yeah. Jalil was actually one of the first people I met when I got to Berkeley. Man, I walked into this practice room. I was 17 years old. I was like, can I play with y'all? And it was Jalil, the bass player, Massimo Biacati.
Yeah, Massimo Biacati.
He was there. And I believe Dana Stevens was there. But I was all, actually Dana was not there. I know definitely was Jalil and Rashawn. But I was all of 17 years old. I said, can I play with y'all? Little kid from Baltimore vibes. And they let me come in, and the rest was history after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I wanted to return to that style, you know, that I used to hear with my dad playing. So when I turned 40 in November.
Wow.
And, you know, I was like, you know, I've been doing the straight ahead thing for 20 years. I had 7 or 8 straight ahead recordings of my own. You know, I don't want to release
four and 3 on Mack Avenue.
3 on Mack Avenue.
And the Reincarnation is your 4th.
Yes, is the 4th. And I had two Japanese imports and then 2 self-produced. But I didn't want to do another record. It's like, okay, another jazz record, you know. I mean, it's a jazz record, but I was like, I just want to do a record where I don't have to. Well, basically, my mindset was this: if I put this record on for some regular people who don't know anything about chord changes and scales and stuff, will they do like this? Will they be like, yeah, this is cool, I feel it.
Yes.
So that was the whole, like, the mindset behind that record. Wow. And yeah, it came out. I'm very happy about it. Introduced again a new side of me. I had a wonderful vocalist that really helped bring out some of the tunes. Her name is Imani Grace Cooper. And I actually composed or wrote all the lyrics to any song that you hear except for the Love of You. By the, you know, Mr. Biggs. Mr.
Right.
Biggs, Ronald Osborne.
That's right.
So yeah. So
wow.
But yeah, you know, that's the record, you know.
Yeah, wow, and it's everyone, please make sure you check it out. It's available on all digital platforms, of course, as well as through Mack Avenue, through the website. And when is Mack Avenue doing their next thing where they get to sell all the albums and it completely benefits all of the musicians? When are they doing that next?
I'm not sure. They just finished one, and I just got a payment in my account, which is great.
Yes.
But I'm not sure. They'll usually my A&R guy would probably call me and tell me. And, you know, I'm not sure. Hopefully. Wow. I don't know if they want to do that again, but they should do it again.
Right? You know, come on, man. That's a whole nother topic, you know?
Yeah, you notice when they did it, they were like, we're only going to do it for 3 days.
3 days, right. Come on now, you know? Yeah. And how are you doing, brother, professionally, personally, through this horrible pandemic?
I'm back and forth. The most positive thing out of this is that I get to spend time with my family.
Yes.
Being a touring musician, and I'm married now, and I have 2 wonderful kids upstairs. But I'm also divorced with 3 other kids, but combine all of that for the past 20 years, there's been a lot of me being gone and a lot of where's daddy? You know what I mean? So the fact that I've been home since the second week of March, and here we are about to hit June, I haven't been home like this in 20 years. But at the same time, it's something new for me because I'm not used to being home like this and, you know, just being an everyday dad. But it's actually cool. I'm actually getting some writing done, getting some projects done. You know, I'm actually still doing like some small gig, like a small gig around Baltimore. But we're live streaming it. Nobody is actually in the place except for myself, the band, and the owner and the camera guy. So it's at max like 7 people in the room.
Right. And the social distancing, of course.
Social distance, of course. Like the band normally, since I play multiple instruments, typically I'll just hire a bassist and a drummer, and I'll just play piano and vibes at the same time. Or it might just be a duo where I'm just playing piano behind a vocalist or a horn player. But we'll do that. And just, you know, a lot of lessons online. A lot of lessons have been taking place via Zoom or FaceTime, Instagram, Facebook, you know. So, but overall, you know, it's cool. Everything is cool. You know, my wife has to remind me daily, at least we are, at least in our house, you know. I mean, sorry about the many people around the world who've lost folks, but at least we as in my family, we are safe and healthy.
That's right. Same here. Yeah, and it's been a good time with me doing a lot of writing, composing myself and everything. So, wow, hearing so much to talk about with the great percussionist Warren Wolf, pianist as well, multi-instrumentalist, and Warren. Now we got to talk some sports now, definitely for sure. Now, I wanted to ask you about talk about the parallels between an elite athlete and an elite musician like yourself. What are those parallels that you notice?
Focus, intensity. I'm thinking somebody who just came to mind was, of course, my man Lamar Jackson.
Of course.
Maybe he lost a little bit of focus in that playoff game to the Tennessee Titans last year, but still.
And the first 3 quarters against the Chargers the year before too.
Yeah, something happened there. So I don't know. That playoff intensity just kind of, you got to step it up. But you know, we got to be focused, and you just got to be willing to just go all out and say, basically, like, the field is mine.
Yeah,
I got this. Nobody can take this away from me. And I look at that as the same thing as a musician. We go out on that stage, at least I do, and I look at that audience. I look at the stage. The stage is mine. I'm the ruler. I'm about to take it over.
Yes.
I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to entertain you the best I can over 60 minutes or 90 minutes, whatever that's going to be, music-wise. Same thing with the sports. You know, I'm going to entertain you for 9 innings. Or 4 quarters, quarters of baseball or football, whatever it is, and
3 periods in hockey.
3 periods in hockey, yeah. So, you know, I just try to take it over. You just want to be straight and just, you know, just try to dominate as much as you can. You know, that's one thing that, you know, I mean, many great teams out there. You know, you got the Steelers of the '70s with the steel curtain defense, but since I'm Baltimore, I'm gonna stick with the Ravens. And matter of fact, they came out with an article today. Ray Lewis said something like, he still believes that nobody could ever do what the 2000 Baltimore Ravens did with their defense, because they set a league record for total yards allowed.
Total yards allowed per game. Per game.
And he was like, I don't see anybody else doing that, you know, anytime soon. Now, rules are made to be broken. It's going to happen. Like, nobody ever thought that anybody could break the Bulls record of that, you know, that 72. Right. And then the Warriors, they beat about like 1 or 2?
Yeah, by one.
By one. Yep. But, you know, they didn't win the title that year, but still.
Exactly. And now they're 1 game away from completing that. That's how good. That's what I'm saying. People want to say that they choked that Warriors team. They did not. Like, they were exhausted, but also, too, they still were just 1 win away. You know, even with everything going on, Steph wasn't really healthy. Like, it was just, you know, a lot of lack of focus in that finals as well, you know. But they still were that good to still make it to, because and be able to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the Western Conference Finals, you know, to
Oklahoma. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and some people say, I remember that year, they honestly believe that if it was for, what was it, game 4 or 5 when Draymond got suspended?
Game 4,
They was like, you know, they probably would have got it. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and Draymond was really the MVP. So that's the thing. Like Steph, lost his MVP to Iguodala. Then next year, Draymond would have been the MVP, and then KD was the MVP. So do you think that's? I want to ask you about Steph Curry. Like, does that kind of have? Is that a little wrinkle in his career that he never won Finals MVP?
I don't think so.
With those 3 rings.
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to do anything to his legacy. I mean, you're looking at one of the greatest pure shooters of all time. Mm-hmm. I don't think. I mean, it might be a little hindrance, but it could be no big thing to him. I think his main concern is getting those championship rings, and he's a no doubt Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
When his time has come, when the time is right, he's coming.
Yes, sir. Except when MJ says he's not a Hall of Famer yet, which is kind of wrong. I mean, I think if Steph retired now, he would. Yeah.
Of course. Right. I love Michael Jordan, but after watching that Last Dance, you see a whole nother side of him.
That's right. And tell me your impression of that side.
Honestly, I mean, I look at him as another hard worker, but at the same time, he likes to. I don't know. It's just like he's. I had to think about that one. But you just see on the other side. I mean, you see like an animal. That's what's kind of what comes to mind. He comes at you hard. Like I never realized that Jordan talked so much trash.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like him. However, maybe that's not a bad thing because a lot of people say. Some people say, and this is even in music, the more successful are, the less friends that you have.
That's right. The less real friends.
The real friends that you have.
Smile in your face. And then,
And that's the thing about him. He said that, Jordan said that. I totally believe that. Like, personally in my life, I would say I probably have like 5 good friends. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's not looking at all the stuff that I've done. And I don't even carry myself that way. I played with the SF Jazz. I've been here and been there. That, I'm no different from anybody else. I'm just the lucky SOB who just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I enjoyed The Last Dance. I will say that, but it was I just kind of looked at Jordan in a different way, but that does not mean I don't like him. I just never saw that side of him because as a player of his magnitude in the 90s, he was one thing that I appreciated him hearing him say. He was like, I was just trying to play basketball, but because of who he was, and kind of still is, he was just everywhere. Yeah. This dude had his own, what do you call it? This security guys, the sniffers.
The sniffers, yeah.
He had how many?
Kept beating him with the dimes,
Yeah. How many basketball players walking around here with like 5 security guards? I mean, I'm sure there are some, but not like that. And then everywhere he went, there's a camera in front of his face. And then it was really deep, that one shot when they showed him in the hotel room and he was just sitting on the couch smoking a cigar. He was like, it's just nice and quiet. LeBron and guys like that, just larger than life people. It's like you see people like that. You see Shaq walking somewhere, you're gonna be like, okay, that's like I remember I saw Shaq one time. Man, I was doing a residency with Jazz and Lincoln Center and Doha.
Oh, okay.
When they had that program over there. And I remember one morning, me and my band were sitting at breakfast, and this one dude came up to me, and there's not many African Americans over there. But this one guy who came up to me, he was very American. He was like, "Yeah, well, I'm business partners with Shaq," and we was like, "Oh, okay, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm just here handling some business." We were like, "All right." So again, we're just sitting, and then we see this large character just moving in the kitchen, and I was like, "Oh, that's Shaq."
Yeah.
It was him and Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. They were over there representing some company. They could have been over there trying to endorse watches. Who knows? Yeah.
Corporate event and stuff.
Yep. But them 3 guys were there. I was like, wow, man, these dudes are huge.
Yeah. And I've been blessed to interview Shaq and everything. And he's an interesting cat. Like one time I interviewed him, you could tell he wasn't there, like kind of like in another space. But then the second time I interviewed him at Dr. J's function, he was really cool, and he's a good guy overall. When the cameras aren't there, he's really laid back. So
yeah.
definitely. But wow, but Big Shaq, man, and LeBron is the same way. LeBron, like, pretty much mention like Kendrick Lamar or something, and he'll be that's like his favorite rapper. Him and Nipsey, you know, pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
So but here with Warren Wolf on So Much to Talk About. My name is Nabaté Isles. So Warren, now tell me what any old recordings, because I'll ask you both for sports and music. Any old recordings that you haven't listened to in a long time that caught your ear and you're like, wow, okay, I got to delve into this once again. Any old records or any new records that you've been open to?
Let me see. Something old. I'll give you two versions of quote unquote old. I'm old for me right now. I'm gonna go back to late 90s.
Oh yeah.
There's a record by one of my favorite pianists by the name of Danilo Perez that I've recently started going back to.
I know what it is. Yep, Panama, right? Panama.
Is that one? Is that one? And there's another one called Central Avenue.
Oh, okay. That was
after. Both of those.
I think that was after.
Yeah, it was one. Yeah. But this, Central Avenue is the one I've been listening to again. It's Danilo and Jeff Tane Watson, John Patitucci.
Okay, I'll be listening to that too.
They play some great stuff on that, man. Danilo plays he plays impressions in 5, but it's a groove in 5, you know, with that Latin feel on there. Yeah. But he sounds awesome on there, and I would say something back in the day that I'm really listening to right now is probably Miles Smiles. That's just one of my records that I always go back to. That's just hearing that band on that particular record. You hear them stretch. It's like I'm hearing when I listen to that record, it's like, all right, these guys are playing like if they were just on stage live. They just happen to put a microphone in front of them. Yeah. But just to hear them guys go, I think one of the tunes that I really liked was Dolores. And at the end of Dolores on that particular track, Miles or Wayne, one of the two, they kept messing up the melody a little bit. But however, it was such a vibe. Yeah. Nowadays, if somebody does that on their session, they're gonna say, stop, let's do the whole thing again.
Right.
But you know, they just kept going on this record, and it just feels good. And I wish a lot of musicians would, you know, try things like that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just go for it. See what happens, you know.
Because those are the best mistakes are the best things that can happen for the overall scope of the music. At the end of the day, it's not about individuality. It's about the scope of the ensemble, the whole timbre. That's what it is, right?
Definitely. Yep. So those are two things I'm really checking out. And then on top of that, I've just been listening to I listen to a lot of newer music right now. You know, just checking out, you know, just random things. Sometimes I'm just in a hotel and I might hear something, I'll Shazam it. I'm like, wait, what's that? And it doesn't necessarily it's not necessarily jazz, you know, it's just something I like. Yeah. Like, I'll name one artist this guy. He's actually, I could tell he's a jazz pianist, but he's throwing all these hip hop beats in there and stuff. His name is Kiefer. You ever check this cat out?
No, I haven't. Okay.
Oh man, Keifer. This guy is blazing, playing all this stuff like Oscar Peterson, but he has like some really simple grooves. You can just sit back and just chill to it. So,
yes. Wow. It's kind of like Greg Philippan's type of vibe, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of grooves, man. Them, let's see, Butcher Brown. That's my boy Corey Farmville. That group is from Richmond, Virginia.
Farmville, he lives in DC, or is from DC, right?
No, he's from Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach.
But he lives in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Killing.
No, he's here. I mean, it's a lot of great musicians here in Baltimore, but Corey is here right now. So we actually have another one of our quarantine gigs coming up for Father's Day on June 21st. And Corey will actually join me on that one. So I don't know what we're going to play, but we're going to play something.
Wow. And where can the audience see that?
If you go to www.andiemusik live, andiemusiclive.com. If you purchase the link on there, I think it's $5. If not, it's no more than 10. And we stream the show via YouTube. Okay. And we encourage people to give donations, whatever you can. You know, it just helps the artists out, you know, because none of us knows how much longer this thing is going to be going on for right now. So a lot of musicians are just, and this is across the board, a lot of musicians is out of work. Jazz musicians, pop, rock, classical. We're all just like, okay, what's next?
Yeah. Brother, and,
So,
and that's the thing. Like, I'm looking to record my next record in the fall, and I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen because a lot of festivals are now being postponed to the fall, but we don't know if they're still going to happen. You know, so I have a couple of those engagements pushed back, which I don't know how will it be scheduled, and how, it's just a mess.
Yeah, the whole thing was a mess.
But
I did manage to get in one more Mack Avenue recording before everything got crazy.
Oh, okay. Wait, talk about. Do you want to say something about that real quick?
Oh yeah, no, I can talk about that. So right before, I would say like mid-March, like around March, actually late March 22nd, 23rd, I went to the studio and I like my mother-in-law has been telling me for years, you should do a Christmas record. And then I was just like, I don't want to do a Christmas record. Everybody's done one. But then I last year at a house party in December, I actually played a Christmas show because of this woman who she always hires Tim Warfield, but Tim Warfield was busy this particular day. He must have something else that paid more. Who knows? So she asked me to do it, and the Christmas show was actually great. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and do a Christmas record. But it's not the typical, like you're not going to hear jingle bells and things like that. I actually put some arrangements on some of these tunes to make it a little bit funky, a little bit sexy and things like that. Like some of the songs I did was Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy by Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
But when you hear that, you're going to be like, wait, this got a nice little groove to it. You know what I mean? So that one, Happy Xmas, The War is Over by John Lennon. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. I did all of those type of songs.
Wow. And who's on the record with you? Real quick.
So we have, it's myself on, I'm playing a lot of stuff. I'm playing vibes, I'm playing piano, Fender Rhodes, some special effects and percussion. Drums, my boy CV Dashiell.
Okay.
Bass, Jeffrey, and then we have some vocalists. A friend of mine, vocalist Christy Dashiell, Allison Bortleme, she's a wonderful friend of mine, and a wonderful guy here in Baltimore named Micah Smith. So that record should be out mid-November, so we can get it ready for the holidays. Because after we're going through all this COVID stuff, I think people are just going to look forward to having some good music. So the whole purpose of doing this record is so we can have something to sell over and over throughout the years. This is not just a Christmas record for 2020. These are just some good everyday hits, but just slightly changed, slightly changed around a little bit. And each track is no more than 4 minutes. So, it's just good for radio play. And it's just, something that will just catch your attention. Quick solo here, done.
Right, absolutely, and that's what it is. Be able to make that statement, and yeah, absolutely, and that's what we get, and it resonates to normal ears. You know what I mean? Like which unfortunately most of the society is, because music education, all that is not relevant in schools, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's another topic.
That's another show, But real quick, this verse has been going on IG. Ludacris and Nelly, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. Name a couple of some verses that you think real quick, like that should be the next ones, or maybe a jazz verses. Name like
Let's see.
That should happen.
I'm gonna take it a little bit old school, because I don't really listen to a lot of hip hop and stuff nowadays. But let's see, if I had to just name a couple, I would love to see something crazy like give me Snoop Dogg versus Busta Rhymes.
You know what? They're talking about that. That's funny that you said that. They're talking about that. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, I'd love to see that one. Give me I'm gonna give you a real singer. Give me I'm gonna do a male versus a female right now.
Oh, okay.
Give me Tevin Campbell.
Okay.
You know that boy can sing.
Yeah.
Actually, let me put somebody else. Another male. Give me Tevin Campbell versus Usher, so Usher could be embarrassed.
But Usher got the hits though.
He does.
He's gonna get Tevin on that. That's the only thing. If they had a sing off, forget it. Tevin.
Let me think. Two ladies, if I had to think of a couple of my favorites. I'm gonna take it outside of R&B. Give me Yolanda Adams.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Versus.
Let me get Yolanda versus Beyonce.
Oh, that's no contest. Like,
I know.
Like I said, I think Sing Off is no Yolanda, you know. But
Yeah, I know.
but unfortunately the hits, that's that's the shame about the industry. We're gonna talk again because we're gonna talk about how the industry really emphasizes that instead of musicality.
Definitely.
We have to go more into that. Wow, check out the new album from Warren Wolf, Reincarnation, which is on Mack Avenue Records, and also his Christmas album, which will come out in mid-November of this year as well. WarrenWolfMusic.com for sure.
Yep.
Warren, thank you for being on So Much to Talk About, brother. Good to
Thank you,
talk
bro.
with you. I'm glad everything's blessed with you and your family.
You got it, man. Hope to do it again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless. Bye-bye.